What's good, YouTube? Crown Jewel from Crown Jewel Boxing. Back with a gem. We'll talk about a boxing dad in this video. A lot of people are talking about it. I share the sentiments of a lot of them. I'm a person that is all for a father being 110% supportive of their son or daughter or just child in general in whatever they do in life. So, I never knock a dad for trying to propel their child to greatness. I like to think of myself as that type of father myself. But with that being said, there's one that I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, I just gets under my skin a little more than the rest. You guys have heard about how I feel about, Bill Haney and Devin Haney's father. I'm not a big fan so far. I haven't seen him a lot, but in recent times, Brian Norman Sr. is another one of those type of dads. But the one that makes my skin crawl the most, and like I said, I hate to make it personal. Just my preference. Nothing against him personally, but just I don't prefer to listen to him speak. Is Floyd Schofield Sr. And my man Dean named him Counterfeit Bill, which I think fits him because I think he has adopted a lot of what Bill Haney does, or tries to adopt what Bill Haney does in the promotion and marketing of his son. I think he misses badly a lot of the time, but he went with that whole Floyd's a boss. We partner with Golden Boy. Recently he's saying stuff like the promoters work for the fighters, which is ridiculous. It's like saying the record companies work for the rappers. It's not the truth. When you're signed to a promoter, you're signed to an organization. They own more times than not your life rights. They own your image and likeness, and they pretty much own your career. So they are your employer. When you fight, you get checks cut to you by the promoter. The promoter doesn't get checks cut to them by the fighter. The promoter cuts checks to the fighter. So the promoters don't work for the fighters unless you have your own, like the select few, Floyd Mayweather, Tank Davis, where you have your own promotional company and you partner with a promoter. But 99.9% of the fighters are not partnering with promoters, and the promoters do not work for them. They work for the promoter. But with that being said, he's done all this big talk. Floyd's a boss. We do what we want. The promoter does what we tell him to do. The promoter works for us. He went through all that. He must be listening to what some people are saying, trying to take a back seat and letting Floyd Jr. talk some more, unless maybe Floyd Jr. is demanding to talk more. But there was a live last night. Floyd Jr. had appeared to be on by himself. Inevitably, Senior poked his head in a couple times, said he wasn't there because he's in a meeting. But when he leaves the screen to go back to being in said meeting, he was still chiming in on and ad-libbing on everything Floyd Jr. said. So he obviously, just can't stomach getting out of the spotlight and allowing his son to have it. But with that being said, and what he said was very telling. Again, he's a boss. Promoter works for them. They call their own shots. He's the man. Well, in recent times, as these big fights, like my man KO say, start to get real, these attitudes change a lot. And not only did his attitude change towards Shakur Stevenson, where it went from, we'll stop Shakur, we'll knock Shakur out, Shakur ain't got no chin, Shakur ain't built like that, blah, 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 to, well, even if we lose, we're not losing anything. If we give a good fight, it elevates us. There's nothing wrong with losing, and we're going for greatness, and it's all this if we lose now, where, again, he was going to stop Shakur, and there was no chance of him losing before. But he also softened his stance on that boss talk and the promoter working for them, because he went into his normal spiel about them being a boss, and then he ended it by saying, let me say this, Golden Boy has invested a lot in us. They have a say-so, and at the end of the day, we're going to do whatever they tell us to do. So you don't call your own shots. So you're not a boss. So you just capping, as the young people say, and out here mimicking Bill, and not really being. At least I give Bill Haney this. I think he believes the things he say. He is his own independent boss, and he stands on the stuff he say. But in this instance, Floyd Schofield, you've mocked and mimicked him. But when the rubber met the road, you had to back down. You had to show Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions their due respect, and that they're not your equal, and they're definitely not subservient to you. They don't work for you. And at the end of the day, you have to do what they say. Which kind of reminds me, again, of Brian Norman Sr., who did all that talking and then came back and said, well, I'm not going to act like I'm at the table. I'm not in a room where the fights are being made. Just, again, some of the reasons why I talk about not only these young fighters needing media training, but their fathers and trainers, if they're going to be talking, they need media training as well. Because they're playing this game, and it's their son's career, so it's not a game. And you don't get a second chance at marketing yourself. You kind of, as a fighter, for the most part, fall into a pocket of what you're going to be in the eyes of the public, and you pretty much stay there. You know what I mean? They're fickle when it comes to disliking people they once liked, but people don't usually change their mind about somebody they dislike as a fighter and start becoming a fan of them. So, you know, I know you want big, and you know what? You want stardom, fame, and fortune for your kids, but the things you're saying and doing just may be blocking it. And I think that's the case in Floyd Mayfield Sr. and, again, Brian Norman Sr. I think every time they open their mouths, they hurt their son's marketability. They hurt their son's star power. And I think a lot of it they can't see because they're blinded by wanting the fame and spotlight themselves. And I'll say this again and again and again. I train fighters myself. As trainers, we're not the star. It's not about us. Nobody's coming to see us. Nobody really wants to hear from us. The fighter's the star. So to all the dads out there, all the trainers, I implore you to take a step back. I'm not saying you can't do any interviews, you know what I mean? But when you basically, you know, channel hopping from channel to channel, video to video, content creator to content creator, you're like a interview thotty, for lack of a better way of saying it. And again, it only hurts your fighter or your son's brand because nobody wants to hear from you. And 9 times out of 10, you're saying and doing things that's hurting them, their marketability anyway. That's all I got for y'all right now. Until next time, keep your hands up, your chin down, your ass off the floor. Peace.